There's the boy.
Hello.
How the devil? Which way do I have to look? That way. How the devil are you? Other
Sorry.
way.
I'm very well, thanks. How are
Yeah,
you? Okay.
yeah, good. Thanks. Yeah, it's been a good day actually. Not feeling so great, but the weather's nice.
Yeah, well, it was meant to be really sunny with us today, but it actually hasn't turned out to be very sunny at all. So there we go.
Here, here it is like it's like being in the Sahara Desert. It's so hot. But
Mm,
anyway, lots of schools on the call, which is great. We also have
yeah.
our first comment and a known suspect.
Now then, this is Ysgol Gynradd Amlwch all day long.
Yeah, Miss Richardson for the win. Arbenig.
Amen. Well, welcome in. Oh yes, well, Miss Richardson's got a top tip for you there, teachers. If the live lesson time or date even doesn't actually suit you perfectly, but you'd like to follow the activities, then sign up anyway, and then just use the recording then later on in the day or the next day or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we've also got Mrs. Pierce. Hello from year 5 and 6 from Libanus Primary. How's it going?
Libanus. Where's Libanus Primary?
Well, Libanus is a very common name for chapels in Wales. So it could be
Right.
anywhere. It could be anywhere, but I'm guessing it's linked to that. Unless there's a village called Libanus, this is a good chance as well. But if there is a village called Libanus, it's going to be named after the chapel that's nearby, I'm guessing.
I've got a feeling it's in Caerphilly.
There we go then.
P65 at, whoa, I wish I hadn't taken this on now. Rashi Lee Primary School, raring to go. Well done. Mrs. Pierce says South Wales. There you go.
Oh,
In
there we go.
Blackwood. I knew it was Caerphilly. I just had something in my waters that just knew it was in Caerphilly.
Yeah. Is Blackwood in Caerphilly? It's not. It's Coed Dion. It's not in Caerphilly. It's not far.
Yeah, it is.
Not
It's
in
in Caerphilly County Borough.
Oh yeah, right.
On the outskirts of the town of Blackwood.
I don't think you guessed that. You may have some. You have a Google open there, haven't you? Come
Oh,
on.
maybe. Anyway, enough of these accusations. Let's get through the rules for Refugee Week. You can see activity page down at the bottom. Don't worry, Underbank Primary. We'll get to you in a second. Adobe.ly/refugee25. The rules, you always know the rules. It's dead easy. Mr. Jones, you can do them as quickly as you possibly can right now. Go.
If we're going a bit too fast for you on these activities, then remember that you can pause the live stream. Saying that, we are going to be going back and forth from the browser that Dom is on to the iPad that I'm on, which will give you a little bit of extra time. Rule number 2, at about 4 p.m. today, Dom will be emailing every single teacher that's registered for today's session with a certificate for every one of you that's taken part today, whether you've done one activity.
Breathe, boy, breathe.
Also on that email, about 4 p.m. this afternoon, there'll be information about Express School Challenge. That's where you, teachers, can win free prizes, swag, things like pencils, rubbers, stickers,
notebooks,
rulers, all that kind of cool stuff for your class. But also, if you do it a few times, you can win a pizza party for everyone who's taken part. So more information.
What a great way to finish the school year.
Yes, more information about that on the email at 4 p.m. You'll only get that email if you're registered. And Dom, they're going to need to go to where to get registered. If you've just hopped on the call, you need to go to adobe.ly/live lessons and register for this session that you're on right now in order to receive that email at about 4 p.m. this afternoon. Right, now then, talking about the challenge page, the activity page even, which is scrolling around at the bottom of the screen. Let's have a look at it, Dom, and let's see what we've got in store for everyone today. Now, hopefully you are sitting comfortably and you're logged into Express, whether you're on a Chromebook, a laptop, a computer, or an iPad using the Express app like me, and that you're ready to go. Right, here's the challenge page. Tell us about it, Dom. Oh, this is my screen.
No, yeah, right. That's fine. I'll tell you what, I'll put mine on. I'll get rid of yours. Get out of here. Why is mine not showing up now? Remove add stage. There we go. Okay. So adobe.ly/refugee25. If you've got an iPad thingy, open your camera app, use the camera to hover over that QR code, that's what it's called. And then it will give you a little yellow box. You can tap that and it will open up in here. What are we doing today? Oh, do you know what? Just before I do, I did promise. Miss Bond from Underbank Primary in Scotland.
Welcome in, guys, from Underbank.
Yeah. Where do you think they're from?
Where in Scotland?
Yeah, don't you know?
No, I don't. But I'm gonna.
Come
No,
on.
don't make me guess and be wrong.
It's
Is it the only
in
place I've been to?
Carluke.
Great.
Carluke.
Where's that? Which
Just trying to work
county?
it out.
Which county is that?
Gosh, I don't know. Let's
Oh.
have a look. Let's have a look. Come
What
on, come on, Google.
what
Work
a
with
quiz!
me.
What a quiz master you are! Huh?
Oh, it's outside of Glasgow, near
Oh,
Motherwell and Stonhouse. Is that Stonhouse Muir? No, I think that's different. But
okay.
anyway, there you go.
So the good chance
Absolutely.
that that group's joining on iPads then. Good chance is it from?
Yeah. The Clyde Valley, South Lanarkshire. Oh, South Lanarkshire for the win. South Lanarkshire for the win. The best. They are the best. Okay, right. Let's get on. Let's get on with this. Right. So, activity 1: a data-driven infographic on refugees. We're going to be focusing on the largest refugee crisis, which is the Sudan conflict. It's been going on for a long time. So, we're going to do a quick infographic on that. We'll use some of the data that you can see in this link here. If you click that, and then it will open up in here, and you'll have all sorts of facts that you can use for your infographic. We'll turn it from this kind of on the page, very lifeless and heartless data in numbers and letters, and we'll turn it into something which looks beautiful so that people can have a more empathetic look at how the refugee crisis is happening in Sudan. And then activity number 2, global refugee web page. Now, this is a big one, kind of looking at all the kind of crises.
Oh, we're on the wrong.
Crises.
We're on the wrong tab.
Oh, we're on this one. We're going to look at activity 2, look at all of the main or the biggest crises that are happening across the world, and we'll do a web page in numbers, which is always nice and fun because it's very simple and very beautiful to do. Right. Are we ready to rock and roll?
Yeah.
Yeah, think so.
Yeah.
Right, let's go here then. Right, so the first thing we're going to do is, obviously, you're going to be in Adobe Express already, and you're going to go to this green tile in the top right here, create a graphic, and then I'm going to get rid of some of these templates, and then up at the top here, we're going to rename our work because we do want to find it. We do want to find it later, and we could just put refugee graphic, maybe something like that. Okay, cool. Right, the first thing that we're going to do is going to go to elements, then we're going to go to backgrounds. I don't know what we'd actually search for in here. I'm not really sure. Abstract and patterns might be good. So we don't want something that's going to be too dominating, but maybe sort of like a dark color, something quite serious.
Yeah, a nice geometric pattern would be good, maybe.
Ooh, geometric. What a cracking idea, geometric. I'm going to go geometric blue. Oh, nice. Okay, this one's cool. Oh, I like that a lot. Never
Looks
seen that.
serious. It's a serious background.
Yeah, exactly. It demands your attention. And then once that's done, I think what I'll do is I will so let's put my boxes in, I think. And now if I go to this page here, you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We've got 6 boxes that we want to work on here. So let's go over here and we'll go to elements. We'll come back out of this abstract patterns. We'll scroll along to shapes. And actually, geometric blue, the 6 results for geometric blue. How strange. I'm just going to get rid of that search term. And in rectangles here, you can see you've got a nice rectangle with rounded corners, otherwise known as a squircle. Or a squectangle.
That's even worse.
Squectangle. That'd be spectacular. That'd be spectacular.
That's a square and a rectangle. Hang on.
This guy, I don't know. Right. Anyway, it's not maths week. Leave me alone.
Rectangle.
Rectangle. Blimey, you're getting all medical on us. Right. Okay. Right, what the fill color? What should the fill color be? Moving on as swiftly as possible. Let's go maybe like a sort of something that complements this kind of background. So maybe a blue, something like that. That's not enough. That one's good. I like that. That's good. Now, once I've got my color, then I'm going to do 3 rows here. So I've got 6 boxes that I want to do. Now they don't all have to be the same size. It will very much depend on, what kind of fact you've got to put in there. But I'm going to duplicate it, and then I'll stick this in, and I'll just make a sort of rough guess now. So I'll make this one slightly wider, around about there. Looks good. And then I'll duplicate again, and I'll put this one here. Line it up on the left-hand side. Well done, me. And then I can maybe make this one quite big. Oh, that now is a squircle, because you see what it did there?
I
It
did.
gave you that strike through there. That means it's a squircle, a perfect squircle. And then I'll duplicate it. Got another one here. Now that one can't be the same size, so that'll have to be taller. Cool. And then I'll duplicate, bring this down. So I'm going to make sure that it matches there, but then give myself the space and a little space at the bottom as well. And then duplicate, and then bring that across, making sure it's in line. You see, look at that, nice. And then this one can be wider than that one. There we go. We got 6 boxes, all for our facts. We can mess around with those later, but ultimately we are done. So let's go and see what Jones has got for us.
All right. So I'm on the iPad. So here's the iPad homepage. Hey, homepage, guys! Exciting news. Homepage is going to have a little bit of a new look in about.
You're giving them a sneak peek.
In about a week and a half's time, homepage is going to look a bit different. Anyway, so I'm going to be creating a graphic. So let's tap on the green tile there that says create a graphic. Opens up the Adobe Express all-in-one editor. And let's grab our background. So I'm going to go to Elements on the left-hand side, just here. It says Elements in this left-hand menu bar. Tap on that. Up at the top, we're going to scroll over a little bit to Backgrounds. And let's search in there for Geometric. Geometric. Okay, and it's up on the screen there if you're not sure how to spell it.
Oh, well done.
Thank you. And yeah, there's loads of really cool options here. You want something that's not going to grab too much attention.
Oh, that's good.
I like this one as well. I mean, that's okay, but it's on the edge of being too busy, I'd say, this type. So I like this one, so I might go back to that was nice.
Excellent.
Right. Okay, and now we're ready to add in our shapes. So we're already in the right place to be going for shapes, because shapes also come under Elements. So here on the Elements panel, up at the top, I'm going to scroll over again from Backgrounds, move to the right, and you can see the next one along is Shapes. Now, it's still got that search in there, Geometric, so we need to just clear that search. And here we can see the rectangles, the second category down, and let's just scroll across. And let's find that kind of rounded rectangle. Well, there's a rounded square there, or as Dom calls it, a squircle. So let's bring that in. I'm just going to change it to white. So it's black at the moment. Over here on the left-hand side next to me, you can see that little black square. Give that a tap, change it to white. And now I really enjoyed this when Dom was doing this just now, where you intentionally, from the beginning, kind of plan that these are not going to be all the same size. So kind of make the first one definitely too big or too small, and then it forces the next one to be different. So I'll make this one too big. No, I'll make it too small. And then I'm going to duplicate. And now when we bring it next door, it means that this one needs to be bigger in order to fill the gap that we've got. Maybe we'll do something like that as well. Okay, cool. Duplicate that, and let's bring this over. There we go. Maybe we could go for another one like that. And maybe then I'll do a small one there. Cool. This is a lot of fun. So we need to set 1, 2, 3, 4. I got 4. So let's duplicate this one. I'm going to pop that in there. Like this. And then let's duplicate this guy. Bring it down. Yeah, and you can have a lot of fun kind of making an interesting looking grid.
Yeah.
Just using 6 boxes. That's fun. I really enjoyed that. So I think that's me. Everything's not quite centered, actually. There's more of a gap on the right-hand side than on the left-hand side. So maybe I just need to kind of scooch stuff over a tiny bit. Once you get one of them lined up correctly, oops, just make it wider. There we go, more like that. Then the other one, there we go, it'll click into place. Perfect.
Oh, nice. Oh,
Cool.
That's a nice grid you've got there. That's cool. I like that.
Thanks, Tom. Right, what's next?
Nice. Okie dokie. Right. So what we want to do here is, if I go back here, for example, so this one is going to be on the Sudan conflict. So maybe you want to copy this here, the Sudan conflict. Control and C. You can just type it out. I'm just being pretty lazy, I suppose. And then I'll go back over here, and I'll go to T on the left-hand side for text. Add your text. Paste that in there, or type it in, whatever you want to do. And then I'll go to Edit, Text Layouts, Dynamic, just because it'll capitalize it for me. And also, if you want to make it go into 2 lines, you can. But oh, actually, yeah, maybe I'll do it like that. And I'll pop it up the top here. Right, I'll make it. Yeah, is that a good? No, I think not. Sometimes your eye is better than the guides because you want it to kind of align in a slightly different way. So I'm going to put that there. Go to my recommended fonts. You're looking for something quite serious, I suppose. Ooh,
Yeah.
that one's good actually. That feels quite newspapery, I suppose. Yeah, I'm going to get it into roughly the right place, right about there. Then, what am I going to do? I'm going to back out of this recommended fonts by going here, and I'm going to go to effects, yes, and go down to shape, and then you've got a little view all button. And the one I want is the one that's going to stretch from side to side. Right. Now, you can see there's a little, now that I've selected it, there's a little slider going on here. So click that slider, and I'm going to play around with text fill. So I'm going to make that white. And you're like, whoa, that was a bad idea because now you can't really see it. But then I go to the shape fill, maybe more colors, choose something, maybe even the same as that one. Not sure about that. Maybe like a green. What you can do, and you'll lose sight of it, but when I click this dropper tool here, I'll then hover down over one of the greens at the bottom so I can match it to that. So I'll do that. Yeah, that's better, I think. That's cool. Now you're thinking, well, you've still got this massive gap over here. What's the deal here? Well, that's because if I go back to here, I can put, I can maybe take this text here. So the Sudan conflict or the Sudan crisis, doesn't really matter which one, has caused a massive refugee crisis with over 14.3 million people displaced. How many people live in Wales, Meredith?
3.2 million, I think, roughly.
What? So that is 3, 6, 9, 12. That is like 4 times the population of Wales have had to move because of the fighting.
Yeah. Incredible.
That is bananas. Yeah, I know. Let's go back here. So now I can go to add my text again and then paste that in there. And then if I go to text layouts and dynamic again, then I can play around with the size of this and then kind of pop it in here. That's what I want to do with this. Maybe I want to make it onto 4 lines, something like that. And just pop it in here. That's a good alignment tool there. I think that's pretty good. You can, I mean, do you know what, that works there. That's fine. Now, it's slightly not as good, not as easy to read as the white stuff. So I do want it to be different from the white text. I want to keep it black, but maybe I just need to put a little outline on it. No, not keen on that. I'm going to go back. And what I'm going to do is go to effects, and then maybe I'll put like a glow on it. And then make that glow, this one here, make that white. Yeah, that's worked out well. It's going to lift the whole thing off the page. So I like that. And then I could go into edit and just keep on pushing it up a little bit. I sometimes find that the plus and the minus are easier to work with when you're doing dynamic text layouts. I don't know if you find that as well, but there we go. The Sudan conflict has caused a massive crisis. Right, there we go. Let's get our text in. Let's get your text in, and then see where we're at after that.
So I scanned that QR code that Dom put up, and so I've got the challenge page, the activity page, open in Safari.
The activity page.
So there's copying and pasting text on the iPad sometimes doesn't behave.
Not so much fun.
Although saying that, the last 3 times I've said that, it's actually, oh, here we go. This is the type of thing it usually does. Some crazy stuff. So Let's click on this button here that says click for more detailed facts. Tap on that. It's going to open up Dom's Google Doc. Brilliant. Now, I don't need to open it up in the Google Docs app. That's fine. I just need to grab some text from here. So let's just grab this first bit, the Sudan conflict. Right, actually, I could type the Sudan conflict, but I need this next bit. So has caused from there. So let's just hold my finger down on the has. There we go. And then we can use these blue handles to start the selection and end the selection where I want it. There we go. That's what I want to select. And now I'm going to long press anywhere on that blue selection. Ooh. And copy. Open days. I think I pressed the wrong thing. There we go. Copy. There we go. Okay. So I've copied that text. Let's jump back over to Express. Let's add in some text. Right, add your text. There we go. And let's just paste it in. Now, the easiest way to paste on the iPad is on the keyboard itself. Right here, you've got these three icons, the scissors and then the paper. And the third one along is a little black clipboard with white paper. That's paste. So tap, days. Tap on that. There we go. And it'll paste that in for you. Now, Dom showed us how to add a shape behind text. Another way of doing that, of course, is to just put a shape in. So let's just duplicate one of our shapes, one of our rounded rectangles, and let's just whack it up there. There we go. Okay. The color on that, let's change the color on that shape by tapping on the color block here. And I'm going to go for something that tones with my kind of blue, with my blue background. I think that's going to work nicely. All right, let's bring up this text. Now then, I'm going to place it in there, and I'll center that up, I think. There we go, like that. Now, this font, yeah, I need something that people are going to take seriously. So a serif font would be good here. Not a sans serif, but a serif font. So a serif font is one that does have those little extra lines on the end of letters. Something like, I tell you what, this font is called Bitter. This is good.
Ooh.
There we go.
Yeah,
and Bitter
that's nice.
Comes in all of these flavors: regular, italic, bold, bold, italic, black, black, italic. So I've got lots of little options to help me throughout my design. Maybe I'll go for bold for this. There we go. And now let's duplicate it. 3 dots, duplicate. And in this box, I'm going to tap and then triple tap to select it all. Tap, 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 super quick. And then this is going to be my title. So the Sudan crisis, conflict, crisis. What is it?
Oh, it can be either. It can be either.
Crisis. There we go. Okay, so with this one, let's just pop that up at the top there. And let's just bring up the font size using the plus icon on the left-hand panel till I kind of feel that it's getting a bit cramped. Now, let's change this font to the black font. There we go. It's just a little stronger than the one underneath. And hopefully I can get it nearly as wide as that sentence underneath. I think I'm about there.
Yeah.
There we go. And I don't think I need to add any outlines or shadows. I think I'm quite happy with it like that.
Yeah, I think that's worked well. Okay. Let's have a look, see where we're going next. Right. So we've got our boxes, we've got our title, we're all lined up, we're all good to go. So here, I'm going to go back to here. And each one of these is going to go in a box. So I think what I'll do is I'll just, rather than doing the title and then the detail underneath, I'll just do the detail underneath. So I'm going to get that section there, copy it. And then I will go back here. Now, I think what I'm probably going to try and do is use this text box, duplicate it, bring it down, triple tap in it, and paste my text in. Now, obviously, you know, we're working on quite a sort of small screen, I suppose. But you know, that's good. That works well like that, I think. Once you print it out, people will be able to see it. So I'm going to pop that there. And then now that that's done, I've gone into, I'll show you where I got this. So I went into Elements, and then I searched in icons for Refugee.
Mm.
So there are different ways you can do it. There are, if you go into design assets, there's some cool ones as well. You know, this is quite a good representation here. I think that kind of works out quite well. So maybe, maybe I'll actually use that one. And then you can zoom in and check that that looks how you think it should. I mean, but you could always bring it down. And maybe I don't mind. Do I mind if it goes outside the box slightly, Mr. Jones?
Well, I suppose if you do it and then do it in every one of them, then it's a consistent thing, isn't it?
Yeah, I suppose. What I'm going to try and do here is I'm going to try and put my text on top. Now you can see on my layer stack, if I click and drag this, that if I pop it underneath, then the text kind of jumps on top. And I think that is okay. Let me just check the effects in here. What did I put? Oh, there's no effect on it. Oh, I thought there'd be a glow effect. No. Glow, and then that one. Yeah, is that making a difference?
You can go to custom, can't you? There, if you go to custom, you can maybe make it a bit
Yeah. Yeah, I think maybe the
less of a blur.
less of a blur. I actually think more of a blur seems to work well, actually. And then the distance, maybe how far it goes. Yeah, I think that works quite well. I mean, you could just click it and just be done with all this nonsense and give it an outline. And then
Oh,
that kind of lifts it even more off the page.
yeah.
And if you wanted to, you could click your icon, position, flip, and then maybe the more of the family are on that side.
Yeah, that's good. That's much better.
Yeah, yeah, that makes a difference, doesn't it? I think that works out quite well. So basically, all I'm doing here is I'm going to my next one. So over 3 million people ran away to other countries like Chad, Egypt, Uganda, and South Sudan to stay safe. So that's my next one. So let's go here. Click this text box because I like what all the effects I've done on it. So I'll duplicate that, pop it over here, triple click, paste in my new text. Now there's a bit more text in here. So maybe maybe I'll something like that. Like I say, when I do dynamic text, I often find that it's easy to use the plus button to get it to the kind of size you want once you've got the kind of shape you're looking for. Yeah, I kind of we need to play around with what I'm going to do here, but what am I going to use for my icon to go underneath this? Chad, Egypt, Uganda, and South Sudan to stay safe. I mean, I've just typed in refugee here. Am I going to find anything here? Maybe I'll put flags and see if I get. Sort of looking for different flags, I suppose. Yes. I don't know what I'm going to do here. Maybe I'll go back to. Maybe what I'll do is I'll go back to refugee, and then I'll use this line one. This one that's kind of going on a line because then I can pop it in
Oh
here like that.
yeah,
You see.
yeah,
And that's kind of the movement of people to all sorts of different countries. And if I scale it up like that, you will also be shouting at me and saying, Dom, you get in front of the text. So I'll just pop it behind like that. And I think that's quite a cool way to, show kind of what's happening here. Maybe I can bring it down ever so slightly. Yeah, that
yeah.
works out well, I think. Yeah. Okay. Well, you do a couple and I'll do another couple and then we'll finish on the last two, I think.
Okay, okay.
All right.
Right.
Remove and add.
So I'm gonna start off by not creating a problem later on. Now I've got two pretty small boxes here, so let's tackle those first. So let's jump back over to Safari. I'm just thinking, right, which one of these look like the smallest sentences? So it's probably the first two, actually. I think the first two are the smallest ones. Yeah. So let's make sure that they go in my smallest boxes. Okay, so let's just choose the first one, move the blue selectors, and then hold my finger down, copy that. Okay, let's jump back over and let's start a new text box. So text, add your text. It's going to use the same font that I used last. There we go. And let's paste it in using the paste icon, which is just here. paste. Right, now then, for these, I don't want it to be such a strong font. So I'm going to go, maybe I'll even go down to the italic, I think. And I'm going to center align. So you know where the alignments are there, just underneath the font drop down. There we go. So I've center aligned it. Now then, let's get this to fit nicely into this box. Okay, now, this is still, the font size is still 20 there. So I think that's absolutely fine. Once you print it out, the font size of 20 is plenty. So it'll be visible enough. So that's my first one done. Now then, and let's just duplicate that right now. 3 dots, duplicate, and let's pop that into the other one, which is the same kind of size. And let's get my second sentence in there. So my second sentence is this people leaving. So let's just choose that. Hold my finger down, copy. All right, and let's jump back over, open up this second one. I don't think it matters which one goes up at the top. So let's choose this one. Triple tap to choose it all, tap, 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 and then paste. Remember, this paste icon is here, the third one along. There we go. And it's going to fit okay in there because it's a similar kind of sized sentence. Right, now then, what am I going to do to fill these in? So obviously you've got the design assets that Dom showed you. You've also got icons, or you've also got, you could also just use text in a bigger font to call stuff out. Okay, so we could go for something like, let's just go for, let's go into the elements on the left hand side. So elements, and this is where we found our background and our shape. But if you go all the way over to the right hand side, we've got the icons, and I'll search in here for refugee. Let's see if there's anything. Refugees. Ideally, this is people running away. That would be good. We've got people there with cases, so that could be a good one. Yeah, I'll go with that one. This one here. Let's bring that in, and let's pop that in to this top box here. Right, I'm going to bring down the size. There we go. Now then, color. That's the same color as that blue that I've got up at the top and in my shape. So I'm actually going to go for just a darker version of that. And I'm going to stick to this kind of line of blues here. Okay. And then I've got a nice gap there. So if you haven't got a gap and your icon fits really well, then you can just leave it as it is. But if you've got a gap and you're not sure what to do with it, then something you could do is just duplicate your text. And then in this text box, I'm just going to put 3M. So M stands for million. And then I'll put a plus icon in there as well. So kind of 3 million, more than 3 million, over 3 million. Okay, and that just that kind of, and then just make that nice and big. Okay, and then pop it into the same kind of color so that it doesn't clash with your text. Use the same kind of image color for this. There we go. And you can have a look. Do I want this to be maybe in my black font? Yeah, I do. There we go. And that's kind of filled that up a bit better up at the top there now. Okay, right. The other one is more than 8.8 million people had to leave their homes because of fighting, but they're still living in Sudan. So what about just some fighting? Okay, so we'll put elements, icons. Maybe is it just guns? Maybe it is. You know.
Yeah.
Not nice.
But things like war or military or something like that.
Yeah. This person here carrying a gun, and we'll go for something like that. You know, when you're doing these kind of infographics, you want the image to kind of tell you a bit of the story. So with this one, what I'll do is I'm going to push this to the side like that, because that icon is long, because it's a person standing up. It's going to fit better by doing that kind of thing. There we go. All right, there we go. So that's my first two done. So remember, if you're struggling to find icons or design assets, don't be afraid to just make some big text. That'll also help you to point what your text is saying. Okay. Over to you, Dom.
Okay, right. So
Oh, wow.
I've yeah, so I've been working on this, and I'll show you what I did here. So there's a tank there. Some of them have worked, some of them work not so well. But I'll show you what I've done. So we got here. Chad has taken over 1.2 million people from Sudan. And when I went into media and search, if you go Chad flag, we can't find anything. So I'm going to generate that image. I'm going to make it a landscape, and then I'll just put Chad flag in there. And what it'll do is it'll give me this one, which is the Chad flag. So let me pop that in there. That looks good to me. Excuse me. And what I've got to do is I've got to make sure that my text is above. So I'll do text. I'll click the text, 3 dots, bring to front. There we go. And then if I want to, I can make that Chad flag bigger, but I don't want to make it completely over the top. I mean, I suppose I could put it over the top like that, and then press Shift so that they're both selected, and then maybe just pop that in the middle. Not sure what I think about that really. It's all right. Yeah, something like that. And then I'm trying to click off and then click back on the text and maybe try and center that text in there. Cool. Now, like Mr. Jones said, the fighting has made life very hard. There isn't enough food, clean water, doctors, or other important things. And it's not particularly pleasant to look at, but, war is one of the things that really affects these crises. So I did put war and didn't find anything, so I might put tank in there. And I found this one. So I'll pop that in there, and then I'll make it a bit bigger. But then also I'll make sure that I select my text, 3 dots, bring to front, and then it kind of softens how how kind of extreme that tank looks. Then we've got Sudan is the most children in the world who've had to leave their homes. So actually, I think maybe I need to make this one a slightly bit smaller, and then I'll go to elements, and here I'll just put children in. And what am I going to do here? Oh, this could be cool. Could do something like this, like pop that in there, make it bigger, and then I'll see what it's like. Or maybe I need to select that text, maybe try and make it fit in the middle. I think there's a bit too much text for that, if I'm honest. That's not too bad. Yeah, I can pop that in there. I mean, I suppose it doesn't matter if I then use my plus to go over the top of some of them. That's okay. Make sure 3 dots bring to front, and then I can pop that in there. And then just make sure, because I think sometimes it's not actually giving me the kind of outline that I want. Make sure that outline thickness is bigger. So that's okay, that one. And then the last one is about disease. Rain and floods in some places have caused these diseases like cholera and malaria to spread, making things even worse. So here maybe we'll put disease. What have we got here? Okay. Right, that's interesting. Well, maybe we could use a couple. So we got one with the heart and the kind of warning sign to say that there's a problem. Go back to elements again. We've still got disease in there, so we can do some kind of bacteria, which will no doubt be affecting things. And then malaria, well, that's like a mosquito thing. So we can put that in there as well. Just make sure, as always, that your text, there we go, maybe something like that. Make sure your text is bring to front, and then make sure your outline is thick enough so that it doesn't get blocked by all of those little icons there. There we go. Let's kind of zoom out a little bit here. Don't forget the zoom is up here. You can do zoom to fit page and then just put on there. But I'm pleased with that one. I think the only bit that I'm not so pleased with is this Chad one there. I think I need to do a little bit of work on that. Don't think that is.
I've got an idea for Chad. If you want to,
go on, let's have a look at that.
So here we go.
So nice.
In the icons, if you search for Africa, you've got a few maps of the African continent. So Chad is pretty much there. If you think of the kind of top bit of Africa, it's kind of in the middle there.
I like that idea.
Maybe actually, yeah. And then, so I've got 3 icons there. Basically, I've got this map of Africa. This I just search for pin or locator, that kind of pin on a map, and then arrow, of course, then showing the direction that they are going. They're coming from the east to Chad. So that's what I did there. And then this next one I'm working on right now, we've got isn't enough food, clean water, and doctors. So I was just thinking I'm going to have food, and then I'm also going to search for water here. See if there's something. There we go, something like that. Okay, over there, and kind of making these 3 icons in this darker blue that I've been using. And then let's go back and get a doctor as well. Doctor. Okay, yes.
So Chad is kind of central, isn't it?
Yeah.
Right in the center.
Yeah, yeah. There we go. So I got food, water, doctors there. There's 3 icons. But we're trying to say that it doesn't have those. So let's, in the icons, let's just search for maybe cross. It's difficult to talk about what something doesn't have, but if you grab a kind of a diagonal cross, oh, this one will do actually, and I can just spin it. This one's good. So bring this in. So I got this cross. Let's make that then a different color blue, otherwise it'll be a mush. So let's go for that kind of paler blue that I've been using. And now I can pop that on top of those 3 things. And just kind of say, no, we haven't got these.
Nicely done.
Just talking about the things that they don't have.
Yeah, that's great.
There we go.
Yeah, that works really nicely.
Cool. So I've got, what have I got? I've still got 2 left. So I'm just duplicating my text boxes. 3 dots, duplicate. Same again, 3 dots, duplicate. Now, because I don't have the dynamic text layout like Dom has, one thing that I try to avoid if I'm not using dynamic is changing the font sizes on a infographic. It's quite nice to try to keep the font sizes the same, unless you're using the dynamic text layout, in which case you can obviously do whatever you want because it's kind of part of the style of it. So I just need to now jump over. Let's grab the next one. So here we go. So children danger. So this again is children. Okay. So let's go back in. Copy that. Okay. So we'll go in here. Paste it in. Okay. Once you've got your setup, once you've got your text box that you just copy, this kind of job becomes much quicker then, doesn't it? You know, it's getting that first one set up. Right, let's go back into elements, icons, and I'm searching here for children. Okay, there we go. Something like that. It's going to work.
Yeah, cool.
Okay. And then the final one, did you grab a mosquito, yeah, for the malaria
I did actually, yeah.
Yeah. Here we go. Copy. So let's pop that in there. Now, if you've got some empty space on this infographic as well, you know, many refugees live in refugee camps. So if you've got some space that you feel you need to fill, then, you know, that's another thing you could do is maybe just search for tent. So a lot of them, you know, have been living in tents for, you know, 5 years. You know, and we all like going camping, but you know, nobody'd want to go camping for 5 years. You know, it's especially, you know, they're not on a nice campsite. They're somewhere where they don't have access to, you know, sanitary facilities, and the food isn't great. So there we go. That kind of tent there behind those refugees. That works nicely. And just use different colors. Try and stick to the same kind of colors. And then we'll just go again then for mosquito. There we go.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, there we go. I'll just go for one of these.
Yeah, cool.
There we go. And then I'll just force my text to be skinnier just to fill that gap better, basically. It didn't need to be, so it just fills the gap better. There we go. That's me done.
Nice job. Yeah, really cool. So once you're done filling those in, I'll show you. I took a leaf out of Jonesy's book.
Oh, nice, yeah.
Icon, and then it took me a while actually. That for the little landmark thing, I used it's pin, isn't it? I was searching the placeholder or
Pin.
The pin was the one, and I think it's around about there, about something like that. So that's worked out really nicely, and I just kind of kept the color in a similar sort of theme to what we've got here. So once you're done, you can download it, of course, and then you can the file format. If you're going to print it out, PDF print is the best one. If you're looking to save sort of file size, then JPEG's the one to go for. Otherwise, you can press share, and then you can select Google Classroom, Microsoft Teams, or create a view-only link, which you can share with whoever you like by clicking that create link. Do you know what I will do just while we're here? Is I'll just show, and I'm not sure many people know about it, but you do have this translate option as well. And I wonder if I translate this now and translate it to Welsh, for example, because we do have our resident Welshman here. We can press translate and see whether this does a decent job of putting this into Welsh.
Ooh. Oh, not
What do you think of that?
Yeah, it's good.
Roughly?
It hasn't. Yeah, the only thing it hasn't done, which I suppose makes sense, is that it hasn't worked out that those two text boxes at the top are actually the same sentence. You know what I mean?
Oh, I see.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah, they don't flow on from one another.
So you would just need to add Mair Gwrthdaro and Sudan. For that to make sense. Right. But yeah, it does a great job. The one thing you do have to watch out though is you can see the one with the tank.
Yes.
Is that some fonts don't?
They don't have the type.
Yeah, this isn't an Express one. It's a general thing that some fonts don't support a W with a circumflex over the top, a roof over the top.
Okay.
So
you get away with that?
Yeah, maybe, or you just maybe swap your fonts out maybe for something else. A lot of fonts do, but some, and that's one of them. That's an example of one of them, and then it'll just give you a weird box instead. Yeah.
But there you go. That's how you do that one, and good job, everybody. And what we'll do is we'll go back here, and just a quick shout out before we go on to activity 2, the Express School Challenge. This is your final call to get your Express School Challenge in so that you can get swag and pizza before the end of the year. Hey, listen, what better way to celebrate the end of the year?
Yeah,
because free stuff.
It may not be here after the summer holidays. We don't know what's happening.
That's true. And also you're finishing so quickly now. You're finishing within like 4 weeks, 3 weeks maybe. So get that evidence in to at least 3 classes or 100 pupils, whatever's easiest. Whatever Express School Challenge, whatever Express kind of project you want to do, that's absolutely fine. Send in your evidence. There's a button to click there, and then we can send you out your free swag and your pizza. If you do it 3 times, you get pizza, and every time you get swag. Okay. Right. Activity 2.
What about? Hang on. What about talking about what we've got coming up soon?
Ooh.
Now then, we got.
Now then,
we got Wimbledon coming up. That'll be a one-off. Okay, so come along to that. If you've been learning about Wimbledon, that's gonna be fun. It's the first ever Wimbledon live lesson that we've done. But then we've also got the end of year rap lessons. So there's 2 different end of year rap lessons, and they're all in a kind of end of school year summer vibe kind of activities. There's 2 different lessons, but we're running both lessons twice. So you get kind of 2 chances to come along live to those 2 themes. And the first one is tomorrow. So we're doing the first run out of theme 1 tomorrow. and then we'll do it again then later on in the term. And then we've also got 2 lots of the theme too. So remember, you could come along to 2 of those lessons. Make sure that you don't come to the 2 of the same theme, but you could come to one of the theme ones and one of the theme 2s. And then we've also got Wimbledon as well.
Cool.
Right.
Okay, right. Let's have a look here. So we're going to do activity 2 is going to be a global refugee web page. Click here for more detailed facts. We're going to do a web page on global statistics on the refugee crisis that gives the facts in a clear and simple way. So we will be using the second section of this page here. We'll be using the second section of this page here. It's got a little map in there if you want to use it. You don't have to use it, but that's a little map if you want to use it. And we're going to be looking at we're going to do a little section on each one of these. Okay, so let's go to what are we going to do first? I think what we'll do is I'll just copy this piece of text here, so I've got it. I'm going to use that as kind of one of my main things, but ultimately we need to go back to Adobe Express, pick the A in the top left, top left. What am I going to do? No. And then go to build a web page, which is the purple square over here. Give it a click. Right, we don't need the templates because we're masters and we're going to create from scratch. So in here, let's give our web page a title: Refugee Crisis Web Page. Okay, cool. Right, so what's the title going to be? The Global Refugee Crisis.
Yeah.
Like that. And then add a subtitle by Dom Trainer. Now what we can do is we can click anywhere in this gray space here, anywhere, or you can click down here, and you can change it to a short cover and a split layout and all the rest of it, but we're just going to go with a big photo at the top. So I'm going to click photo, search photos, refugees. Well, actually, refugee. What happens if I put refugees? It's slightly different. Yeah, there's lots of different things we can do there. Maybe this one's a good one. It's kind of people moving out, being forcibly displaced, whether it's by war or by disease or by floods or by famines. But you can also click it and press replace at any time. And then, maybe you want to go for a picture which is a little bit more, I don't know, maybe emotional or something like that. I'm not sure. But you can go and choose, maybe even something like that. But either way, you can go back and choose the one that you want. So I think maybe I'll stick with this one. Okay, so it says down the bottom, scroll to start writing your story. So I'm going to scroll here. And then the first thing I'm going to do is go to text, I think. I'm going to pop that in there, and then I'm going to paste that section in there. Why do I want to do that? I think the reason why I want to do that is because I want to make sure that we have a kind of introduction to this kind of web presentation that we're doing here. And in order to make it stand out, I'm going to click anywhere in that text and just select header 1. Okay. So we've got like a big kind of section which tells people in one relatively long sentence exactly what's going on here. Right. Why don't I flick over to you, Mr. Jones, and we can get to there and then move on.
Okay, so as Dom said, up there in the top left-hand corner, we need to click on the Express icon, take us back to the home page. There we go. And this time we're making a web page. We're going to build a web page. So that's the purple tile there on your home page. So give it a tap. And we're not going to be using a template. We're going to start from scratch. So you can see that gray button down there in the bottom right-hand corner that says Create from Scratch. Tap on that. Okay. So let's just add the global refugee crisis. Okay, and then as a subtitle by, and then I'll pop my name in there. Okay. And let's get a background image. So let's tap on the gray and then choose photo. And I'm going to search for maybe refugee camp. Let's try that. I want something that works as a background that isn't going to take too much, going to compete too much with the text. So I think this one will work. Yeah, that's fine. Okay, now this is where you also remember Dom told you how important it was to choose a font that is serious and that people will take seriously and believe in. So there's definitely kind of right and wrong options in terms of themes, I think. So up at the top, I'm going to tap on the paint palette. You know, that storybook theme doesn't give you that serious news report kind of feel, does it? You know? So you want to choose something that looks serious, because this is serious. It's a serious thing that's happening right now in the world. There we go. So I've gone for that bold win. I think that's a good one. All right. And then Dom, grab this text from the doc. Here it is. So let's just choose this. Okay, and you can see it's way easier to choose text from this Google Doc than it is from a web page. So it's worth opening it up if you're on an iPad like me. And then I'm going to scroll down and I'm going to start off with some text. And here I'm just going to paste that in. And it's exactly the same on the web page as when we were building our infographic. We're going to use this paste icon on the keyboard here. Just give it a tap. There it is. So then Dom then had a look at the options. So header 1 is going to be a bit too big, maybe. Header 2, maybe.
Oh, that's nice.
And then the block quote is another option. But I think, yeah, header 2 is maybe the best one. And I think I'll center it up as well. There we go. Right, back over to you, Dom. What's coming next?
Okay, right. So we've done this section here. And then if we go back to this page, we've got a couple of facts here. 1 in 67. This equates to 1 in every 67 people on Earth, which kind of blows my mind, really.
Yeah.
And then displacement, or the movement of people, nearly doubled in the last decade. So there are a couple of like sort of instantly kind of shocking facts that we can put in there. So I've got my header, I've got my first section, and then do you know one thing I did think? Like, can I bolden this up now? I can't just bold that on its own. Right, I'm going to go to the plus section down here. I'm going to go to split layout. Okay. Now, on the right-hand side, give it a click, go to text, and I'm just going to paste that stuff in there. Now, I do want to format this in a different way. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my cursor next to the T, delete, and then return. I'm going to do the same here, put my cursor next to the D, delete, press return. Okay, now, 1 in 67. I think I might try the block quote. Could try header 1, could try header 2. Not sure. I think the block quote maybe. And then the times 2, again, block quote. What I'm trying to do here is I'm trying to sort of make it really clear and impactful exactly what it is I want people to focus on. Because here, you know, this is a sentence and it has this 123.2 million. But then when it breaks it down into something more simple, it's like, oh, wow, that's how many people. And wow, it's getting worse. Okay. So I'm going to click in here. I'm going to change that into heading 2. Click in here. Well, actually, maybe try heading 1. No, heading 2. Heading 1's too big. So I've got a couple of things here. And then on the left-hand side, maybe I'll go to add your image as well. And then I was searching for the things here, but maybe I'll put refugee in again. And maybe I will refugee camp. Well, that's a refugee camp, isn't it? I think.
Yeah.
You'll be able to tell by going to, you see down here. It's got this little eye icon. You give it a click. Refugee camp. Okay. Yeah. Perfect. So that's a way of showing people that, hey. I mean, you could click and go to refugee and put camp in. I think Mr. Jones did that before. I wonder if there's one where it's just so large you just can't even believe it. I wonder what that is.
Oh,
that doesn't look like refugee camp, actually. But I guess you want to kind of try and make it as, you know, visually impactful as possible. You know, like Mr. Jones said, camping, you know, we all think it sounds nice, but not when you have to live in it, you know, on a permanent basis.
no.
So Let's go to the let's get that split layout done next, I think, Mr. Jones.
Okay, yeah. So let's go and grab the text first then. So let's jump back over to Safari. And it's these two next pieces of text here. So let's just tap and let's use these blue selectors and let's just grab, make sure we got the beginning and the end of it. Hold my finger down, copy. All right, let's jump back over to Express and scroll down. And here we go. It offers me these options in this pop-up and I want the split layout. It's the last but one option you can see there. So tap on that. And here we're going to add our text. So text goes on the light side of the split layout. So tap on the plus, go to text. And again, I just want to, and you can see I've actually got this kind of gap between those two pluses there. It's not really obvious right now that I could start typing there. But if you tap between those two pluses, it'll bring up your keyboard. And I just want to paste again. So here we go. The paste icon is here. Okay, the third one along. So let's give it a tap. And there we go, that's in. Okay, so then what did Dom do? Well, Dom then split these up. So let's just tap anywhere in this first one. And if you're not quite in the right place, then you can use your space bar. Now then, this is a tip that somebody taught me and I was like, oh, that's amazing. Because it's quite difficult to find the exact space, the exact point you want that blue cursor line to be. So if you hold your finger down on the space bar, you can actually move it slowly left to right.
Oh, wow, I didn't know that.
To get it to an exact point with an iPad.
Cool.
That's one of the fiddliest things to do on an iPad. So hold your finger on the right. So now I can just backspace, get rid of those spaces on the dash, hit return. There we go. Let's do that again now then. So again, I don't need to try and be too careful. Let's just tap anywhere near the word displacement. There we go, fine. And let's just hold my finger down on the space bar and drag it to the left so I get exactly in front of the D. There we go. Backspace, 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 and then return, and I'm done. Okay, so I'm going to go for the 1 in 67, and let's try the header 1. I think that works fine. Maybe I'll center it up as well. And then the times 2, let's go for header 1 again, and make sure you center it up. Whatever you do with one of these titles, make sure you do it with every one of them. Right, add your image. Still got refugee camp typed in here. Maybe I'll do something like just refugees in here. I'd like to see some people this time. So maybe I'll go for these people here searching for help. Okay, there we go. Right. That's me done. What's next?
Okay. Right. Let's get back here, remove and add. Okay, cool. So the next thing that we want to have a look at is we're going to do it like a glide show now, and we're going to have a section for each one of these. Now this will be quick. And we've got each of these countries, and it's got a bit of information on exactly what's going on in terms of refugees in that country. So these are the kind of the 6 places where things are the most desperate. So let's so there's different ways in which we can do this. So you could I might go just copy Ukraine, so I've got it, and I'll go back here. So if you scroll down to the bottom and press the plus, and you can go to glide show. Right. So there's different things you can do here. So the first one I've got is Ukraine. Okay, so if you go in there, you know, there's all sorts of stuff in here. I mean, that is, I've actually been to Ukraine. It's a fabulous city. So you can go through and add. So Ukraine is the first one. Syria is the next one. Capital of Syria, Mr. Jones?
Well, you've started typing it, so thanks for that.
I know, I had to Google them actually. So we've got one there. Capital of Sudan.
Oh, come on. Come on.
Khartoum.
Right.
There we go, Khartoum. So this is the way you can do it. You can kind of go through and you know, you can either type the country in. It's kind of easier if you go for the capital cities. Now, for the Democratic Republic of Congo, I wasn't sure what that one was, so let's work that out. Kinshasa. That's how you say it, I think, isn't it?
Yes, absolutely.
I think it is. You say Kinyasa. So let's go back here. So maybe
Oh, hang
pop
on,
that
we're on
one
the
in.
wrong tab.
Oh, so now you'll see here we got Kinyasa. We didn't find anything. Now you could put Democratic Republic of Congo in there, but also you could go to generate image and you could put in Democratic Republic of Congo flag. Here we go. And this is so I've chosen a square, which I shouldn't have chosen actually. I should have gone to the image size, and I should have selected landscape. But anyway,
I think you'd be
we
fine.
can all, yeah, we can always just go in there and then generate again, because these are quite artistic. So this is another good way you could put. You could just copy and paste, for example, the names of the countries, and then just put flag on the end. Into the image generator in Express. You see, there we go. So some of these are they do a really nice kind of arty job on them. So I'll apply. So that one goes in underneath. There we go. My next country is Afghanistan and Myanmar. So I don't know, I can try and put Afghanistan in there.
And I guess if you're in school and doing all 6 of these is tricky, you could just choose 3 of them, can you, and just give a few on less of them.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So Myanmar is very famous for these hot air balloons, I think, and the temples and things like that. So I think we kind of although there's a lot of bad news around these refugee crises, we also do want to kind of showcase them in a nice light if we can.
Yeah, and I think it's important.
Proud of.
Yeah, I think it's really important that you think of these places people are fleeing from as if they must have always been terrible places, but most of them have been, nearly all of them have been incredibly nice places like Kiev and like you say, all these places. And the reason people are running away from them is that all of a sudden that they're not safe places to live anymore. It's important for us to know that these places have been for long time really nice places to live.
Yeah, exactly that. And then so once you've got your pictures in there, you can click save. And then what you'll have here is you'll see underneath your kind of couple of facts here, and you'll have this slideshow that goes from one to the next, And so all you need to do now is you go into your doc, and then if you, like Mr. Joe said, if you're only doing 3, that's fine. You can copy that one, go back here, click in your text box, go to text, paste it in, change this formatting, however you want to do it. Or if it's
hang on.
Oh dear. So you just paste in whatever text you want to put in there. That's one. Let me show you just one more, and I'll make sure that I'm on the right screen. So you've got Syria and all that underneath. So you can copy that, Control and C, go back here, press the plus, text, paste it in. And then what I would say is you want to match the formatting for each section. Always match the formatting.
Hey, the one about Sudan?
Mm-hmm.
You could put your infographic on that card.
You absolutely could.
Yeah.
So this one, what's my third one? That's Sudan. All right, so that is the next one. Great idea. So on the plus there, you could go to your stuff. That's a cracking idea. And then we can go to refugee infographic, give it a click. And then I just need that first page because the second one was the Welsh one. And then add as an image. Great idea.
Yeah, look.
And then also, amazing. And what I might do is pop this one over to the other side because I think that must be some kind of governmental building. And come on, you can do it. Let me click away. There we go. And then you can put your graphic in there. And if you've copied your Sudan text, you can find a place where you can put it in. So maybe at the top here, text, paste it in. And match the formatting. Always match the formatting, and that becomes a really cool kind of little bit of extra that you've got going in there. Right, let's have Mr. Jones set up his. Oh,
yeah. There we go.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Right, so here we go. So so maybe because we've got 5 minutes left. So I'll just do a few of these rather than all of them. And you can always add to a glide show later. That's fine. So we'll just do the first three: Ukraine, Syria, and Sudan. So, okay. So we're going to go to glide show. Okay, and let's just try Ukraine in here. I think Ukraine shows up a lot of stuff. So I think the colors, you know, the blue and the yellow.
Yeah.
You know, I might go for, you know,
something like, that's a great one.
Yeah. And then I want Syria, Syria. Okay, and you know, some of these are
that first one's not a bad one.
Yeah, and some of them are showing, you know, the actual conflict itself. So yeah, let's just grab that first one. It's a nice space on the right-hand side. You can see there those buildings are destroyed. And then Sudan. So let's just see Sudan. And if you can't find what you want, you can always just put put more refugee images in. You know, you don't need to get specific images. Let's just get something like, there we go. Cool. Great. All right, so I'm done with it for now. I can always come back and add some more to this if I want to add some more. But once you're done with it, sometimes it's a bit tricky. Not tricky, but sometimes it's a bit confusing. How do I get out of this back to the normal view? Because it's that blue button all the way up there in the top right-hand corner that says save. Okay? It's not immediately obvious how I get away from here. You got to just tap that blue button that says save. Okay, and here are my cards. So this is my first one for Ukraine. So let's just jump over, grab that piece of text for Ukraine. There we go. Couple of days. Let's move my selectors, hold my finger down, copy. And then we're going to jump over. And then in that card, just tap and choose text. And then we're going to paste. So to paste, remember, you got this icon here. Give it a tap. There we go. Now this is already split, so we don't have to do that crazy kind of, you know, deleting and return. So now I can just choose to put that as a header one and center it up, same as I've got up above. I'm ready to move down. So here's my next one. So I think I'll move this card over so that we can still see this ruined building on the left-hand side. And yeah, you know now what we're doing. We're just grabbing the text, copying it, jumping back over to Express, going in, adding the text, the paste icon that's just here, and then format your text to match everything else you've got going on. Right, well, I've got one more to go. Shall I do that, or do you want to carry on with the next step?
Yeah, well, I'll take it over now just to wrap it up.
Yeah.
So we finished that. I finished that that glide show, but what I want to do is to scroll back up to the top. I want to check what it looks like, and what I like doing is going to the present button here. So I'm going to click that play button. You can just see it just here. And then you get this really cool way of being able to scroll through. So you can use your right arrow to scroll down, left to scroll back up. So you've got our first section here, nice big clear explanation exactly what's going on. Then we've got a couple of facts here designed to sort of grab people's attention. And then we're into the glide show. So you've got section 1, glides into section 2, glides into section 3, and just moving those text boxes. And obviously we've got that Sudan conflict graphic as well, which is cool. And then we're going to go down to the Democratic Republic of Congo, which we use the generative AI image to create. And then we've gone into Afghanistan here, 5.8 million Afghan refugees. And then also we're going to finish with Myanmar here, which has been going for a long, long time, that one. So there we go. Now, when you've done that, there's a little X to come out of it here. You can click the X. And then what you can do is you can press share, publish to web, and then you can press create a link. And one of the cool things is that you do actually get credits of all the photos. That's one of the things you have to learn when you're in school about copyright. Here, by giving credit automatically, you can credit the photographers who took these pictures. And then you can press here, create link. And it will do all the publishing for you. All righty. There we go. Job's a good one. Well done, everyone. We've got, don't forget, we've got Wimbledon and the end of year wraps coming up, theme 1 and 2. You can come along to those, or if you register, you'll get the link, and you can do that when you haven't got sports day or a visit to the zoo or Alton Towers or Colomendy or whatever fun things you're doing at the end of this year.
Brilliant. Yeah. Nice to see you, and make sure you get them in. Make sure that you get your Express School challenges registered as well. Get your swag, get your pizza parties, and yes, absolutely, Dom. If you're posting anything on social media that you've taken part in Refugee Week activities this week, then tag us in so that we can see what you've been doing. So all of the tags are down there, and if you're on YouTube, then give this video a little like and subscribe to the YouTube channel. Because you know what? It's not just live lessons that happens on this YouTube channel. There's loads of other stuff, loads of lesson packs and tutorial videos. So if you want
the drawing stuff, stuff's great for the end of the year. Loads of cool drawing tutorials on there.
Teachers, subscribe to the channel so that you see all of the new stuff that we add up all of the time.
Good stuff. Thank you very much, everyone. Thanks for coming, and we'll see you on the next one.